"Ma'am, without ID, we don't have much choice," the officer said, reaching for his cuffs. The rain came down in a slow, icy sheet, soaking the cracked pavement of the gas station. A woman stood beside her stalled SUV, her clothes damp, her hands open and visible. "You can't arrest someone for forgetting their wallet," she replied calmly. Her voice, though soft, cut through the cold air. "I just want to get home." A second officer joined in, less patient. "We got a call about a suspicious person hanging around. You fit the description. No ID, no name, no answers. You're coming with us." She didn't protest. She didn't resist. She simply lowered her gaze and allowed the cuffs to close around her wrists, not out of guilt, but because she understood what they didn't. No one asked her name. No one paused to consider whether something was missing from the story. Earlier, some bystanders had noticed her quietly calling roadside help beside her broken-down vehicle. Now, they just watched as she was placed into the back of a police cruiser. A woman, alone, taken not for what she did, but for how she appeared and what she didn't have on her in that moment. At the station, the arrest wasn't properly logged. She wasn't processed. No call made. No rights read. She was left sitting on a bench, wrists still cuffed, while the officers casually discussed paperwork across the lobby. "Why is she so quiet?" one officer muttered. "If I were innocent, I'd be yelling," the other replied with a shrug. "Maybe she thinks staying quiet makes her look smarter." But her silence wasn't a strategy. It was a choice. She knew her name would say everything they needed to hear. Exactly 37 minutes later, the front door opened, not with urgency, but with purpose. A tall man stepped inside, dressed in a dark suit, the rain still clinging to his shoulders. His presence shifted the air in the room. He didn't scan the lobby. His eyes immediately found her, sitting upright, hands bound, expression steady. Before any officer could react, the police chief appeared from his office. His confident stride faltered as soon as he recognized the man in the doorway. The color drained from his face. "Director Hale," he stammered, barely audible. The room fell into a heavy silence. A pen dropped to the floor. No one moved. Marcus Hale said nothing. He didn't raise his voice. He simply walked past the front desk, pulled a key from his pocket, and knelt beside the woman. With deliberate care, he removed the cuffs from her wrists and helped her stand. The silence was louder than any siren. That's when the truth hit the room like a wave. The woman they had arrested in the rain, the one they dismissed, ignored, and left uncuffed on a cold bench, was Dr. Lena Hale, a leading cryptologist, a co-director in national cyber defense, one of the highest-ranking intelligence officers in the country. The officer stood frozen, realization sinking in. Marcus turned toward the chief. His voice was calm but deadly precise. "Your officers detained a federal agent," he said. "Denied her rights, blocked her from making a call, and never once asked for her name." The chief looked down, speechless. Lena looked at the officers who had cuffed her. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't insult them. But her gaze held a weight far greater than anger, disappointment. "I've served this country for over 2 decades, she said. "I've decrypted hostile communications, sat face-to-face with foreign agents, and helped stop attacks that would have crippled our infrastructure. But today, soaked, alone, and silent, I was assumed to be a threat." They didn't reply. There was nothing to say. She walked out beside her husband. The door clicked behind them. No apology followed. It didn't need to. Because sometimes the loudest lesson is delivered without a single word. And the most powerful person in the room doesn't demand recognition. They simply leave you standing in the silence of your own assumptions.